Meta Muse Spark 1.1 just released, and it might just be the most interesting model drop of the year. I've got to be honest, I've completely written off Meta in the last year. It seems like they've completely missed the AI train compared to Anthropic, OpenAI, and Google. But it looks like they're back. So what's so special about this new model? To be honest, it's not the best at coding, it's not even the best at reasoning, and on raw benchmarks, it sits mid-pack. But two things make it stand out. First, it's one of the cheapest frontier models out right now. And second, it's engineered specifically around being an agent. So this video is the technical breakdown on what's changed from Llama to Muse Spark under the hood. Let's get into it. For years, Meta's flagship AI was Llama, and Llama had two things going for it. It was open weights and it was general purpose. The interesting thing about Muse Spark is that it's going in the opposite direction. First, it's closed. You can use it for free inside Meta's AI app, or you can use it through Meta's API. Second, Muse Spark is built specifically to be an agent. Meta said they rebuilt their entire training stack from scratch with new architecture, and the results matched the old Llama 4 model with 10 times less compute. And the capability curve was just as steep. On an independent scoring system called the Intelligence Index, the old Llama 4 scored an 18, whilst Muse Spark scored a 52. And that jump happened in about a year. The 1.1 that just dropped is the new upgrade. It's the first Muse model with a paid API, a serious jump in coding and tool use, all with significant safety improvements compared to the last version. So what makes 1.1 actually good at being an agent? Three things. The first is memory. It has a 1 million token context window, which means it can run long and complex tasks without any issues. The second is orchestration. Muse Spark can run copies of itself. As a main agent, it splits a big job into pieces and hands them to sub-agents. These are parallel copies working at the same time. If you use Claude Code, this would sound familiar. It's the same idea of spinning up sub-agents. And the third is computer use with actual judgment. It's trained to operate software through a browser, either on desktop or mobile, and it can choose between writing a quick script to do something in bulk, or just clicking through the interface directly, depending on which one's faster. Now let's get into the actual benchmarks. As we can see, Muse Spark wins on agent and tool work. On Humanity's last exam, it scored a 62.1 ahead of Opus's 57.9. On the two big tool orchestration benchmarks, MCP Atlas and Job Bench, which measure how well a model actually uses external tools, Meta reports it takes first place. And on agentic finance tasks, it actually beats Opus and GPT 5.5. So on the can it actually operate things axis, it's actually genuinely frontier. And then there's the safety story, which is the most impressive technical leap in this whole release. On a jailbreak test called the Strong Reject, the attack success rate, which is how often a bad actor actually slips through the guardrails, the score actually fell from 25% of the time with the previous version to only 0.5% in 1.1. Meta's framing is that fewer than 1 out of 10 single-turn attacks actually get through, versus roughly 1 out of 5 attacks in GPT 5.5. And so former OpenAI policy researcher actually summed this up and said, Meta used to be the lab that actually leans more towards capability over safety, and now that spot belongs to XAI alone. Now let's talk about the actual technical execution. On the Sweetbench Pro, which scores the actual software engineering fixes, it got a 61.5, and that barely edges over GPT 5.5 at 58.6, and well behind of Opus's 4.8 at 69.2. However, nowhere near Fable 5's 80.3. And it's the same story on the Terminal Bench, a second coding test where Muse Spark actually landed an 80, just behind GPT 5.5 and Opus again. Muse Spark 1.1 is great at orchestrating and deciding, but mid-tier at writing hard code. However, price is the real game changer here. The model runs at only $1.25 per million input tokens and $4.25 per million output tokens. Roughly just a quarter of what the flagship models of OpenAI and Claude use. And here's what actually makes that price actually dangerous. Meta built the API to be a drop-in replacement. It's compatible with OpenAI and Anthropic's SDKs. So if you're a developer already building on GPT and Claude, switching over is basically a one-line change. So here's the honest technical read on Muse Spark 1.1. It's not the smartest model, it's not the best coder, and it will not top a general leaderboard. But it's cheap, safe, and genuinely frontier, not to mention that it's a fraction of the price of anything close to it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe to the channel. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. The link is in the description below. And if you run a business doing $2 to $10 million a year, you can book an AI opportunity audit with myself and my team. That's the first link in the description below. I'll see you in the next video.